I see you were well fixed for lunch. Who was she?
Have you met Alison?
Not yet, but I fully intend to.
Does she like that?
Yeah, so would I.
She wants to meet all my friends. Well, you know what fiancés are like. They try to vet your entire social life.
No, I don't know what fiancés are like, but I'm sorry well, congratulations anyway.
Well, she has a sister.
You know what's she like?
Fantastic.
I mean, just do with a change of scenery.
Well, you get that all right. She's mad on Bellevue Funfair.
What?
Well, she is only 6.
You're a sadist, Jones.
Simpson versus Rudkin Hospital Management Board, part heard.
Lord, the first witness for the defence, I would like to call Dr. Warner.
Jones, I thought you might want these.
I swear by Almighty God. I swear by Almighty God.
I'm due for some luck.
I think Warner's the one who needs the luck.
The whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And nothing but the truth.
You are Dr. Nicholas Warner. You're 29 years of age, and you're attached to Rudkin General Hospital, where you live in residence.
Yes.
You were on duty in the accident department on April the 17th, 1970, when Mr. Simpson died.
Oh, well.
The plaintiff, Mrs. Simpson, argues that this was a result of negligence. Now, how long have you been a qualified doctor?
4 years.
Would you address his lordship? I shall hear you. How long had you been in the accident department at Rudkin's General Hospital before April 1970?
About 18 months.
Do you regard 18 months as a long or short period to work in an accident department?
Well, it seemed a lifetime.
Long or short, Doctor?
I suppose longish.
I have never come across that word before. Does anyone know what it means?
I'll rephrase my question, my lord.
Oh.
Would you call yourself experienced in accident work or not, Dr. Warner?
I suppose experience.
Now, Dr. Warner, no one will penalise you in this court for what outside may be taken as immodesty. Are you experienced in accident department work?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Most obliged, my lord. Did you receive a patient on April 17th named Mr. Arthur John Simpson?
Yes.
Now, would you tell the court, in your own words, the nature of your contact with Mr. Simpson?
He was admitted with abrasions and lacerations to the scalp and injuries to the skull resulting from a car accident. I carried out the usual examination.
What did that examination consist of?
Well, after
I'm
examining...
sorry to interrupt.
Not at all, my lord.
Dr. Warner, it is my experience that when medical men give evidence in a court of law, they usually lapse into a medical language intelligible only to themselves or other doctors. If it is possible, without inhibiting your description, could you keep it reasonably within lay bounds?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, a head injury is a complicated business. If a limb is broken, an X-ray tells us mostly what we want to know. But with abrasions to the skull, it's of relatively little importance.
Are you saying an X-ray is of little importance in the investigation of a head wound?
It is less important than many other examinations.
Oh, this is new to me.
Now, Doctor, to continue. What examination did you carry out on Mr. Simpson?
After he returned from X-ray, I tested his reflexes. Eye movements and pupils, limbs, fingers and toes, all his main joints. During this time, I asked him questions like, what was his address, how old he was, if he had any children or not. But these were all designed to discover if the blow to the head had caused any mental disorder or imbalance.
After you had completed these tests, what did you find?
Nothing. Mr. Simpson appeared to be perfectly normal.
The wound itself, what did it look like?
As far as I could tell, it looked a minor superficial cut.
Was there much blood?
No. It had congealed before he arrived.
And you could discover no sign of shock or possible brain damage?
None at all.
Did Mr. Simpson say anything during your examination that is over and above the answers to your questions?
Yes, he talked quite a lot.
What did he say?
Well, he was most anxious to leave. Apparently, he'd been on his way to an important meeting when he had crashed. He made light of his injuries and kept saying he felt perfectly all right and couldn't understand what all the damn fuss was about.
Did anyone assist you during your examination of Mr. Simpson?
Yes, Nurse Dowling.
From the moment Mr. Simpson was admitted into your examination cubicle, Doctor, can you recall how many times he was out of your sight?
Twice.
And when were those occasions?
At the beginning, when he went off to X-ray.
Alone?
Oh, no, of course not. Nurse Dowling accompanied him. She waited there while the X-rays were taken and then brought them back to me.
And the second time? The second time, Doctor?
After I'd done all the tests on him.
Yes?
Well, the X-rays were delayed. I asked Nurse Dowling if she'd take Mr. Simpson to her rest room.
Is this the usual procedure?
Oh, yes.
Now, did you see Mr. Simpson again while he was in your charge?
Well, I called into the restroom once to make sure he was all right.
Was he?
Yes. He was complaining bitterly at the delay.
What did you do then?
Well, the X-rays which came through were not satisfactory. I took them back to the X-ray department and ordered another immediate X-ray of Mr. Simpson.
Oh, so you left your patient in order to arrange a further examination of him?
Correct.
And when you returned?
The restroom was empty. Mr. Simpson had gone. The next thing I knew, he was being carried back into the hospital on a stretcher and whipped through to the operating theatre.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Warner, I'd like at once to ask you, when you left to go to X-ray with the faulty prints, did you ensure that someone was supervising Mr. Simpson in the restroom?
Well, I asked Nurse Dowling to keep an eye on him. But that day in accident department had been terrible. The worst I'd ever known. We had a severe staff shortage. And on top of everything, I gather Nurse Dowling was taken away in an emergency.
Would I be right in thinking, my lord, that this nurse will later be called by my learned friend?
We will, my lord.
Look, I must add
Just
that Nurse
to
Dowling's...
recap, Doctor. You asked Nurse Dowling to stay with the late Mr. Simpson, but you did not ensure that your order... I'm sorry, your request was carried out.
Look, I've said, on that day, everything was going wrong.
That is all, Doctor.
And do you have any doubt in your mind, Dr. Warner, that you provided all reasonable care and attention to Mr. Simpson while he was in your charge?
No doubt at all. Nurse Dowling and I took every possible care of him.
Thank you, Doctor. You may step down. Nurse Dowling, please.
Careful, James.
I'd like to know what she and Warner were up to before this happened.
I can guess.
So can
I
Jonathan.
swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Helen Dowling, state
Yes,
registered
they
nurse
often wander
attached
around
on
trying to
April
find
17,
something, something to worry
1970 to Rudkin General Hospital, where you assisted Dr. Warner in the accident department on the day in question.
Yes.
Nurse Dowling, we've heard Dr. Warner say that during this excessively busy time, you assisted him by taking Mr. Simpson first to X-ray and then later to a rest room to await the results.
Yes.
Now, during the time Mr. Simpson was resting, and when Dr. Warner went off to arrange for a further set of X-rays for him, would you tell the court of your activities?
Well, Dr. Warner said to keep an eye on him. I was in the corridor outside the room he was in and was going...
He being Mr. Simpson.
Oh, yes, sir.
Sorry, my dear. Do go on.
Well, I was about to go to Mr. Simpson when an emergency came in.
What kind of emergency was this?
It was a child with second-degree burns.
How were you involved, nurse?
Oh, well, the stretcher that the little boy was on was mounted on a trolley. One of its wheels got caught in another trolley coming the other way. I went to help get it free.
How long did that take?
Oh, a minute, maybe less.
Then what happened?
Well, the wheel of the little boy's trolley was bent and wouldn't work.
What did you do?
Oh, I helped lift it to run on 3 wheels down to the operating theatre. You see, there was only one male nurse with the little boy, so I helped.
And when you came back to the room where Mr. Simpson was resting?
He'd gone.
Thank you, nurse.
It sounded good, James. Good, the old boy.
You say Dr. Warner asked you to keep an eye on Mr. Simpson.
Yes.
Did he say it in a casual way?
Well, I don't know what you mean.
Oh, the phrase itself. It does have a casual ring to it, does it not? Keep an eye on him, nurse. Did you understand from this order or request that you ought to stand over the patient constantly, or that you should pop your head round the door from time to time?
Well, Dr. Warner was in a bad temper that day, so I suppose he said it in a kind of angry way.
Oh? What had made him angry?
Well, at times, Dr. Warner did get rather impatient. And that day, it was awful. You see, earlier on, a light bulb had gone while he was examining another patient, and we couldn't find a spare. And then a man came in with a cut thumb, and Dr. Warner got rather angry about malingerers clogging up the works, as he put it. And then on top of all that, the X-ray machine wasn't working properly.
So Dr. Warner had said keep an eye on him when he was excited and hot-headed.
My lord, could the witness select her own words?
I apologize. Nurse, what was your point when you said Dr. Warner had been angry when he issued these instructions?
Oh, well, normally he would have said stay with him or get someone to stay with him. Not so flip.
And then he went off to assist with the damaged trolley.
Yes.
Did it not occur to you before going that you should get someone to stand in for you with Mrs. Simpson? Another nurse, perhaps?
Oh, I did try, but there was a bad staff shortage that day and I couldn't find anyone. And then the little boy on the trolley was crying and I had no time.
I see. Nurse Darling, I have to put it to you that the reason Mr. Simpson was permitted to leave was because you did not return as quickly as you might from assisting with the damaged
I came back as soon as I
could. You treated the standard behaviour relating to head injury patients in a most cavalier fashion.
I did not.
That you delayed your return, a quick cup of tea, perhaps a short chat with someone.
That's not true.
How else would Mr. Simpson either get the idea that he was finished with, or that he would be able to walk from the accident apartment into the street, which, as you know, is some considerable distance?
I don't know why he left. How could I know why? Well, perhaps he heard what Dr. Warner said.
Keep an eye on him.
No, after that.
What did Dr. Warner say after that, nurse? What did he say?
Well, as he left, I remember now, he said, you'd better tell him to go and find a better equipped hospital if he wants to get any proper treatment.
In that case, my lord, I have no further questions.
Miss Dowling, may I get this clear? As Dr. Warner left you to demand a fresh X-ray on Mr. Simpson, he said to you, and I quote, you'd better tell him, that is Mr. Simpson, to go and find a better equipped hospital if he wants any proper treatment. Is that what you told the court?
Yes, sir.
And did you tell him?
Well, no, of course not.
Lord, if it please the court, I wish to ask for a short adjournment.
Oh, by all means, Mr. Elliot, 30 minutes.
Most obliged, my lord.
Miss Dowling, since you are still giving evidence, you must not converse with anyone in the court during the adjournment. Perhaps you could remain in the court.
A word with you. What the devil's going on?
Well, Derek, it looks as if they have a crisis on there.
They don't seem to be having much luck with their witnesses, do they?